Hello. So let's start. Shall I start? Start, Chana sir. Sir, shall I start? Are you there? Okay, so I'm Praveen Kumar, teaching Contemporary Environmental Issues, Unit 3, Food Spoilage Prevention and Preservation. This is the Unit 3. So the food. So you already know that in the previous lessons how to increase the food production for growing population, so and so. Okay. So here rising population and income of the people are increasing the demand for the food. Okay. So here the food production and availability for consumption is a different, means lot of food produced but available food is less, because in between this production and availability there is a loss of food because of many factors are there. Okay, we have to learn these factors, how the food is spoiling. Okay, the vegetables and fruits are lost very much. You know that we are growing or producing the food more, and that is reaching the people for the consume is very less. Okay, so in between this production and consumption, there is a different in quantity. A lot of production is there and less quantity of consumption is there. Okay, the Central Food Technology Institute has developed techniques or technologies for grain storage and fruits and vegetable preservation. Okay, Center Food Technological Institute has developed technologies for the grain storage and fruits and vegetable preservation. Okay, this knowledge is very important for the everyone. Okay, so food spoilage and poisoning and preservation. This is the next topic. So why food is poisoning? Okay, the food poisoning is caused by eating contaminated food. When you eat the contaminated food, then it is caused of toxic effect to our body, that is called the food poisoning. Okay, the symptoms of the food poisoning is the stomach pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. These are the symptoms of the food poisoning. Okay, so how can we identify the spoilage of the food? Okay, so this spoilage can be detected by color of food and texture, taste, and flavor. All these are indication of the spoilage of the food. Okay, so here chemical poisoning. Okay, chemical poisoning is there. So here chemical poisoning is there. Chemical poisoning is caused by the presence of toxic chemicals in the food. Okay, so you know that in agriculture, they used the pesticides, fertilizers, and so many things, type of chemicals that are contaminating the food. That is causing the chemical pollution. And sometimes you know that fishes are growing in the lake, which is having the heavy metal pollution like mercury. Then if you eat those fish grown in the polluted water, then the metals or pollutants are entering our body and causing the some disease in human being. Okay, that is also called as a chemical poisoning. Okay, next, biological food poisoning. So you know that biological food poisoning means some green potatoes are there. Green potatoes are harmful to us. You should not eat. If you eat more green potatoes, then that is harmful to our health. And you know that the red crumb is there. That is called Kesari dal. Kesari dal is also having some chemicals that is harmful to our body, and especially our muscles are affected by that chemical. Okay, this is called biological food poisoning. Some food here they given only two, but some other examples also there. Some food items are poisonous. Okay, so next, bacterial and microbial food poisoning and hygiene. Okay, so you know that the food spoilage by the bacteria or microorganisms. Some microorganisms are spoiling the food. If you eat the spoiled food, then it will affect our health. Okay, so you should use take care of the cleanness when handling the food items. Next, condition for the growth of microorganisms. Okay, so some microorganisms are not harmful, harmless, but some microorganisms are harmful and causing the disease. That kind of microorganisms are called pathogenic. Okay, so non-pathogenic means not harmful, pathogenic means harmful, that is causing the disease to our body. Okay, so the temperature 30 to 40 centigrade usually favorable for the growth of the micro organisms. Okay, so high temperature above 70, if you heat the food items, then microorganisms will die, and when you cool down, chill the food, then the microorganisms are not die, but it is not growing. Okay, so when it is come to the high temperature, again bacteria will develop in the high temperature. Optimum temperature is 30 to 40. Between 30 to 40, the temperature is called optimum temperature, because in this temperature, bacteria will grow very well. That is why it is called optimum temperature. Next, so bread, you know that bread is there, that is in the making of bread, we are using the yeast. Yeast is a microorganism, okay, and some lactobacillus bulgaris is there, that is used in the curd. Okay, when you add the bacteria to the milk, then the milk is converted into curd. Okay, the bacteria is called lactobacillus bulgaris. Okay, so bread we are using the yeast. Sometimes streptococcus lactis also using for the making the bread. Okay, so in the what happens, yeast is the microorganism that is adding in the dough of the bread. Then the sugar is present in the flour, that is converted into alcohol. Okay, so sugar present in the dough, that is converted into alcohol. In this process, carbon dioxide is produced, and carbon dioxide is present in the dough. Then the dough is increase the volume. Okay, it is convert into large volume. Inside the dough, there is a sponge-like structure because of carbon dioxide. Air is there, that is making some empty places. Then the dough become like a sponge. Then we have to cook the dough. Then it will make it is a process of the making of the bread. Okay. Next, intestinal microflora. Okay, in the intestine also some microorganisms are there. In our intestine, some microorganisms are there that are also useful to our body. And some are good bacteria is there, some bad bacteria is there. Okay, good bacteria is producing the vitamins in our intestine, that is useful to our health. Okay, and pathogenic organisms in food and spoilage. Okay, So here, you know that some bacteria are there. They have enzymes. That enzymes are converting the food into some other chemicals and break down the molecules, and that is causing the spoilage of the food. So you know that cockroach, rats, and lizards are there. They are contaminating the food. These having the cockroaches having the bacteria on the legs. Okay, if cockroach are fall on the are walking on the food, then bacteria is enter into the food, and bacteria is spoiling the food, and that bacteria can be enter into our body, and we can cause the disease. And autolysis. Okay, autolysis means enzymes are present in the bacteria. Enzymes are and some also enzymes present in the food. Okay, enzymes are the chemical constituent in food itself, which bring about either favorable or unfavorable changes. Okay, you know that. So after cutting out the mango, it is started the spoilage. Okay, if you store the mango for many days, then mango will spoil. Okay, because of mango, inside the mango there is enzymes. That enzymes are converting the mango into ripe, and then it is spoiled. Okay, that is called the autolysis. Okay, so you know that pickles are there. Okay, pickles are there. That enzymes, pickles are there. We can store for the long time, because the pickle, we are using the oil and some spices in the pickle, then that is stop down the reactions, chemical reactions in the food items. That is the reason the pickles are not spoiled for the long time. Okay, that is the concept of the pickle. Microbial spoilage. Okay, so once the cellular structure of the food become disorganized, the food is vulnerable to the attack by the microorganisms. Okay, so you know that microorganisms are attack the food, and then food is spoiled. Okay, so here food itself spoiled by the autolysis, and food also spoiled by the microorganisms. Okay, so this is about spoilage of the food. And factors and prevention. Okay, so personal hygiene is important factor that we can avoid the food spoilage by the personal hygiene. Okay, so washing hands. Okay, so everyone know that personal hygiene about during the handling of the food, and before eating we have to wash the hands, and then how to deal the how to cook the food, that is everyone knows. Okay, it is common. And the water is also one of the factors for the spoilage of the food. Okay, so if the water content is there in the food items, then that is spoiling very fast. Okay, so the and another thing is the water we drink, that is also having the bacteria. Okay, so that is also causing the illness. Okay, we need to filter the water, then drink the water. And two-part system is there. One part is having the charcoal, and lower part is having the empty. We have to put the water in upper part, then it is filtered and come down to the lower part, and lower part water is pure water. Okay, nowadays many latest water filters are there. Okay, you need to filter the water because microorganisms are present in the water, that is causing the that is affecting our health. Okay, next, soil contaminants. Okay, so you know that microorganisms are present in the soil when the vegetables are growing in the soil, or handling of the vegetables, fruits, the microorganisms are contaminated with fruits are contaminated with the microorganisms which are present in the soil. Okay, so you know that eggs, okay, green vegetables, fruits, all these are may contaminate with bacteria or any chemicals which are present in the soil. Okay, so you know that parasites also there in the soil. Okay, you know that some open toilets are there in the villages. They are spreading the parasites, or their eggs or some larval stages are there in the soil. Okay, so when we contaminate the food, or some insect are contaminating the food by the bacteria or some parasites or parasitic eggs and larvae, then that kind of contamination is also there. Okay, so that is why the toilets also should be closed, means should not use the open toilets, that is spreading the disease. So from the air also, sometimes air also, some eggs or larval stages of the parasites are contaminating the food. Sometimes air also contaminating the food, and water also contaminating the food. Okay, so this is water and air and soil should be avoid the contamination. Okay, so all these are water, air, soil is contaminating the food. We should avoid the contamination of the food. Okay, food contaminated through the pest and control methods. Okay, so you know that rats, some other animals are contaminating the food. They are carrying the salmonella. Okay, so this salmonella is a bacteria which is contaminating the food, which is causing the health problems to the human being. Okay, so dairy management and hygiene. Okay, so you know that milk is very it is attracting the tuberculosis and many kind of bacteria. That is why we have to handle the milk properly. Okay, so containers are used. Containers should clean properly and heat the milk. Then only you can take the milk after eating only, and store properly. And the milk, through the milk, many diseases are spreading that are one of the important bacteria is the streptococcus infection, typhoid, parathyroid, cholera, dysentery, and sclerate fever. All these are diseases spread by the milk. That is why we should handle the milk proper way. Okay. Next, hotel industry and hygiene. Hotel industry and hygiene also spreading the disease. You know that in the hotels they are using the contaminated water, and they are not cleaning properly. Utensils are not cleaning properly, and they don't follow the hygiene rules. And you know that they should wear the aprons and some caps. So they should follow the hygiene rules. Then only it can be prevent the food pollution. Okay, so the hotel industry also contaminating the food. Okay, so you know that cough, sneezing also should be avoid, or proper. They should follow the proper way of hygiene rules. Okay. Next, the food and produce preservations. Okay. So here the after production of food, Okay, so it is spoiling. Okay, so we can prevent the spoilage of the food by some preservation methods. That is the heat treatment. Okay, bleaching. Heat treatment is some bleaching, heating the vegetables briefly with either water or steam. Okay, that is killing the microorganisms and destroy the enzymes. That is one of the preservative method. And boiling the food items is one of the, which is by the boiling the microorganisms are died. Then that is the one of the method to prevent the spoilage of the food. Okay. Next, frying, deep frying, and baking. All these are also killing the bacteria. Overheat is means high temperature is killing the bacteria. Next, pasteurization of the pasteurization. Pasteurization means that every day you take the milk packet in on that they wrote pasteurization. Pasteurization means the milk is heating up to certain temperature, approximately 70 centigrade. Then after reaching the 70 centigrade, it is cooled down very fastly. Okay, so then cool down and keep the cooling until they reach the consumers. Okay, that is called the pasteurization. Okay, by the process of pasteurization, the microorganisms are killed in the milk. Okay, next canning. Canning the food is a one process. So that packing, canning means packing. You remove the oxygen in the container, and vacuum packing. That is called the canning. Next, refrigeration. Okay, so refrigeration, some kind of food is not cannot be stored in the cold temperature, but some foods can be stored in the refrigerator or low temperature. Okay, so the milk can be stored in the high means lowest temperature, and vegetables need some little temperature. So between 18 to 35 centigrade, minus 18 to minus 13, minus 35 centigrade is there, and some 0 to 4 is also there. So 0 to 4 we are using in the fridge. Okay, so it is enough for the food items for prevention of the contamination. Okay, so the minus 18 centigrade and minus 35 is also there. That is storing the meat for the long time. Okay, that is one kind of storage process. Okay, refrigeration is a one process of the storage of the food. Next, dehydration. Dehydration means that drying of the food materials, removal of the water from the food materials. That some food items are having the high water, some food items are having low water. Okay, so cereals are having less, almost less water. Okay, and some fruits are having more water in the fruits. Okay, so dehydration means removal, drying the food items for the removal of the water from the food items. That is called the dehydration. Dehydration is also one of the process for the prevention of the spoilage of food. Next, salting. Salting means the traditional method. Salting means salt is also can be used for the storage of the food. Next, addition of the chemical inhibitors. Okay, so the chemicals are there. Some chemicals are there that are inhibiting the growth of the microorganisms. Okay, so that nowadays sodium benzoate is one of the preservative mostly used in the food items. That is discouraging the growth of the microorganisms, so that we can store the food for the long time. Okay. Some other food preservatives also there. So permitted food preservatives, sulfur dioxide, benzoic acid, propionic acid, sodium nitrate, so and so are the used permitted preservatives are there. Next, curing. Okay, so the curing means salt solution. We are using the salt solution for the preserve the food items. Okay, so amla, citrus, mangoes, these are we are using some salt solution for the preserving the food items. Okay, so next, preserving with sugar. So everyone knows that jams are there, that is having the high quantity of sugar, which is preserving with a sugar. Okay, some jams are there, some other kind of substances are there, food items are there. We can store in the sugar. Okay, and using of oil and spices. You know that in the traditional method we are using the oil in the pickles. The oil is not good for the microbial development, and spices are there. These also killing the microorganisms. Okay, so by using the spices and oil, we can preserve the food for the long time. Okay, and milk processing. You know that milk also we can boil. Okay, you know that some packet milks are there. We can store for the many days. Okay, so that is called the processing of the milk, and some other kind of processing is there. You know, condensed milk is there. You know that milk made. Okay, that is also one kind of processing of milk, and dried milk powder is there, and cream is there. Cream is also one kind of milk. Okay, milk is processed and store the milk for the long time. Next, whipping cream. Okay, we are using in the cakes. That is also whisking of the cream containing between 30 to 40% of fat. Next, butter. Butter, you know that it is coming from the milk. Then butter can be stored with salt and some other process. And cheese also coming from milk. You know that cheese. Okay, this is can be stored for the long time. Okay. Next, food additives are the food additives. Okay. So antimicrobial agents are there. These are reduce the physical and chemical spoilage and aid to processing. Okay. So the increased use of synthetic food additives also pose health problems, but these must be seen in the proper perspective. Okay, so adding the some chemicals in the food which are preventing the food spoilage and also gives the flavor to the food, that are called food additives. Okay, so flavoring agent and enhancers. Okay, these are the artificial sweeteners are there. Okay, so these are the flavors. Okay, in the cakes and some other food items, they are using these flavoring agents and enhancers. Next, coloring agents. Okay, so some colors also used in food items. Okay, that is coloring agents. Next, stabilizers and thickeners. Okay, so some type of gums are using in the food, and that are using in the chewing gums. Okay, and surface active agents. Okay, some substances include lecithin, some mono and diglycerides of natural fats, sodium or calcium, so and so chemicals are there. These are called surface active agents. Antioxidants are there. Okay, so these are used in the industry, food industry, vitamin E, vitamin C are antioxidants, and some chelating agents are there. The most popular chelating agent is the EDTA. It is also preservative type. Okay, so some metals are also using for the chelating, and these are gives the some kind of flavor or some other kind of taste to the food, and it is also preventing the spoilage. Next, most important one added to the food, such as baked products, are glycerol, mannitol, sorbitol, and propanol glycol. Okay, all these are chemicals are used in the food, used for the food. Okay. Next, enzymes. Okay, so enzymes are generally, they given the example in textbook is a renin. Okay, renin is a curdling process. It is renin is convert the milk into the curd. Okay, that is enzyme which can convert the milk into curd. Okay, some enzymes are there that is used for the ripening the food. Okay, so these kind of enzymes are there, which when the foods are ripened, it gives the taste. That is why it is called the food additive. Enzyme is also one kind of food additive. And acids and alkalis. Okay, so these are used as a preservatives. Acids and alkalis are preventing the microbial organisms. That is why it is called as a preservatives. Next, irradiation. Okay, some ultraviolet radiations are there. They are using for killing the microorganisms. Okay. Next, short-term preservation. Short-term preservations are chilling. Temperature is maintained. Chilling means cooling the food items. This is called short-term preservation. And control atmosphere storage. Okay, so if temperature is controlled in the atmosphere, we can store the food for the more days. That is short-term preservation. Okay. Next, food standards are there. Okay, so what kind of food we have to eat, and we have to buy the quality of food. Okay, so food standards are there. Okay, so sometimes we don't have the good quality food. So why it is having the low quality food? The factors affecting the quality of food. Okay, some factors are there that are affecting the food quality. Okay, so that is called the addition of water to milk to gain the volume. Okay, so milkman is adding the water. Okay, more water. Then milk is having the watery milk. Okay, thin milk. Okay, it is they are adding for the volume, increase the volume. Okay, so next, mixing used tea leaves with fresh tea leaves. You know, okay, already used tea leaves are using with fresh tea leaves. Next, the dyes, colors are using for the food items, that is also harmful to our body. Okay, so next, using the milk vendor for milk. Thus, milkman is selling the milk after removing the fat. They take out the fat and selling the milk. Okay, that is also having the low quality fat. Okay, milk is there, but there is no fat in the milk. Okay, that is also the decreases the quality of the food. These actions are decreasing the quality of the food. Okay, so another thing is quality is deteriorate by the improper storage conditions. If the food is not properly storing, then also the quality of food will decrease. Okay. Next, government has promulgated the Preservation of Food Adulteration Act. Okay, so promulgated the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, PFAA, is help the consumer to get quality standard food. Okay, so this act is there. PFAA act is there. This is protecting the consumer for the buying the low quality food, or prevention the protecting the consumer for the buying low quality food. Okay, so next, cereals and pulses are there. Okay, so these weight volume is decreasing, increasing. Okay, when it is produced, it is high weight, and after some time, the pulses are decreasing the weight and volume. Okay, and we need to check out the quality of the cereals and pulses, and fat oils are there. These are adulterated with other kind of oils. Okay, if you buy the loose oil, then they maybe add the low quality or cheap oil in the ghee or any oil. Okay, that is harmful to our body. Next, milk is also adulterated. Okay, so they are adding the water, and they are take out the fat, and so many factors are there. Okay, so nowadays they are adding some chemicals in the milk to prevent the spoilage of the milk. That chemical is also harmful to our body. So many things are there. Okay, so jaggery is also there. Sometimes jaggery sugar also adulterated, and spices also adulterated. You know that very well. Everyone know that spices are having the mirchi is there. They are adding the color and some other cheap substance in the spices to sell to gain the money or make money. And coffee teas are there. Good quality tea leaves are there. They are mixing the low quality tea leaves in the good quality. Okay, that is also one kind of adulteration. Okay, they are selling for the high rate, but they are adding some low quality leaves in the tea leaves. Okay, next, eggs also there. Eggs also polluted. Okay, so the eggshell also glazed for the appearance. Okay, next, fresh eggs are sink in the water. Okay, so chemical change is occur in the changes occur in the egg. If it is not fresh, then egg is come up in the water. Okay, float in the water. Okay, so fresh eggs are sink, but the older eggs are or spoiled eggs are float in the water. Okay. Next, meat. Meat should be tender and juiciness and palatability. Okay. So you should check the meat before buying. Proper quality of meat only you should buy. And vegetables also, you should check out the quality of the vegetables and fruits. Then only you should buy. Okay. So nowadays, many different kind of adulterations are there in the market. Okay, so everyone should aware of these adulterations. Okay, next, public education. Public education means, so they should know the what is the quality of food and how it is spoiling, and how to buy the quality foods, and how to avoid the adulteration, and what kind of organizations are there for the prevention of the adulterations, and so many things. Public should know everything. That is very much important for the healthy life. Okay, and here I will give you some summary. For good health and to be free from the disease, consumption of nutritional food is a prerequisite. Okay, so for the good health, what we need? free from disease, consume the nutritional food is required. Okay, understand? We need to take the proper food and then only we can live healthy. We can avoid the microorganisms. However, food is liable to be infected and contaminated by various agents. Okay, so food can be contaminated. To prevent the food from spoilage during the storage for long duration, knowledge about how food gets spoiled is important. Okay, for the storage of food, we need knowledge of how the food is spoiling. Okay. Next, the consumer should know how to assess the quality of food before purchase. Okay. So when you're going to purchase a food, you should ensure the quality of the food. Okay. In view of this, consumer education is needed in order to prevent the sale of low quality and spoil the food. The knowledge not only helps the consumer to spend economically, but ensure a healthy life. Okay, knowledge of food, adulteration of food, and spoilage of food. Everything is useful for the not only economy, it is also useful for our healthy life. Here, some model examination questions are there. Write brief about food spoilage. Okay, so all of you should answer these questions. Try to answer these questions. Okay, so number one is write a brief about food spoilage. Next, write a brief about food poisoning by microorganism. Write brief about food poisoning by microorganisms. Next, third one. Discuss briefly about dairy management and hygiene and hotel industry and hygiene. Next, fourth one is write briefly about food and produce preservations. Next, fifth one is discuss brief about the factor affecting the quality of food. Discuss brief about the factor affecting the quality of food. Okay. Next, the 10-line questions are there. Write a brief about chemical poisoning. Okay. Discuss brief about biological food poisoning. What are the conditions required for the growth of microorganisms? Write brief about dairy management and science. Briefly write about hotel industry and hygiene. Discuss brief about balancing. Write brief about irradiation. Briefly write about public education. Okay, so all of you try these questions. Try to write the answer for these questions. Okay, and here check your progress. Okay, so here the 3 types of food poisoning are chemical, biological, and bacteria. Okay, so 3 types of food poisonings are there, that are chemical, biological, and bacteria. The microorganisms break down the undigested material to the simple substance and help in the formation of the fuzes. Okay, so microorganisms are break down the undigested food material to the simple substance and help in the formation of the fuzes in our intestine. Okay, intestinal microorganisms break down the undigested food materials to the simple substance and helps in the formation of the fuzes. They also play a role in the digestion and synthesis of vitamins, particularly vitamin B and vitamin K. Okay, so this is about intestinal microorganisms. And next point is to destroy the microorganisms, rapid heating followed by the rapid cooling is done. This process is called the pasteurization. Okay, this is also important. So every day we are having the milk that should be pasteurized. Pasteurized means to destroy the microorganisms, rapid heating followed by the rapid cooling is done. This process is called the pasteurization. Okay, so these 3 points are very important. You should compulsory, you should know about this. Okay, so this is about unit 3. Okay, so in the unit 3, so we are discussed about, in the unit 3 we are discussed about food spoilage, preservation and prevention. How the food is spoiling and how to prevent the spoilage of food and what are the process of preservation of the food. These are important because when we produce the food, that should not waste. Okay, when we produce the food should not be waste because growing population, okay, we need to increase the food production. That is a challenge. Okay, but after production of the food, more food is spoiling. Okay, because of don't have knowledge about all these things. All these things means spoilage of food, how to prevent the spoilage and how to preserve the food. If you have this knowledge, we can prevent the loss of food, and it is helps to the prevention of the food items, and it also gives us the health, and it is also economic. Okay, so that is why everyone should have some knowledge. Okay, so once all of you confirm this, what is the reason for the spoilage of food? Okay, concentrate. What are the reasons? Next, and what are the ways of spoilage of food? Okay, and what are the food standards? Okay, so just you should know what are the food standards. Okay, and next, methods of storage of both grains and perishable foods. Okay, so grains are not perish easily. We can store for a long time, but the vegetables and fruits are perishable, and meat and milk also perishable. Okay, so you should avoid the spoilage of the food is very important. Okay, it is also helps for the many indirectly helping for the many things, many affecting the many factors. Okay, so that is why it is important. Now we completed the unit 1. Okay, so in the unit 1, food and nutrition we completed. Okay, so first one is food production. So what is the food production? How can we increase the food production? And what is the nutrition? What is the requirements for our health? Means what kind of nutrients required for our health? Okay. Third one is food preservation. Okay. How the food is spoiling, how to prevent the spoiling, how can we preserve the food? These 3 topics are there in the unit 1, and we completed the unit 1. Tomorrow I am going to start the block 2. In the block 2, 4, 5, 6 units are there. Okay. So tomorrow I will continue with the shrinking forest in India. Okay. Now I'm leaving the meeting. Okay. So I completed this food preservation lesson today and I'm leaving the meeting.